So this is the Sefer, the book, written by Rabbi Yosef Chaim MIMRAN. It's been around a little bit now. The Ultimate Connection with God. 7-Step Guide to Jewish Spirituality. Rabbi Yosef Chaim MIMRAN. Now, the main thing here is to understand that there is a connection all the time between this world, which, you're lucky you live to 80, 90, whatever, you're alive, but as you get to my age, you're mostly missing your health. It's not completely bad, but as they say, it gets worse. As you get older, you start to lose your health. You're not the same man or woman that you were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Things really change. So then what are we doing here? What are we doing is trying to establish a connection between this physical world, which is constantly degrading itself, constantly re-evolving with new generations after generations. We need to attempt to connect to eternity. And that's the purpose of this book. Now, he has lots of different techniques, and we're going to go through some of them. And it says like this: included in the basic idea of acquiring love is loving solitary meditation, because when a man desires the love of company of other people, it's impossible for him to be attached. Now, this is a very interesting point, because for me, what's happening to me is that I'm getting older, and especially because I live in a community which has just boomed like crazy, and it's full of people who are between 40 and 50 years younger than me. As a result of that, there's really, what's going on in my life doesn't compare to what's going on with them. They have kids, married, young married people, trying to forge their living, going through all different kinds of things, but I'm somewhere else. And I find myself, because we're really commanded to daven in groups, as an outsider. And he's saying here that if you spend your time working on the outside, you'll never really find that inner connection. It has to be done only by you. The mediator wants to achieve this great level of meditation in order to wrest upon himself peace in his lifetime. Now, this comes from the Reshus Chochmah, the Gates of Ava, number 3. Now, let's go back. I skipped this and we'll come back. This is part 14 of Rabbi MIMRAN's book. And these are little chapters mostly. But all of them can be used by you and me. Now, he's saying like this: another doorway to true wisdom is what? Silence. Silence your mouth from speech and your heart, meaning your mind, from contemplation. Now, this is a major thing that Rabbi MIMRAN has been saying, is that we have to be able to quiet our minds. In a world of perversion, the one that we live in now, and is becoming more perverted, you have a constantly struggle back and forth, full of hate inside of the minds of many people. How do we find our way out of this? That's what I'm searching for. He says silence. A famous but not so well understood teaching was stated by a great sage in Pirkei Avos. This is Parak 1, number 17. All my life I have been brought up amongst the wisest of men, and did not find anything that benefited me more than silence. Similarly, it was stated by another sage who said the greatest protection to wisdom is silence. What is it about silence that makes so powerful and effective? Now, it's a very interesting thing that, in fact, the Almighty, if you think about it, is completely and totally silent. He is inside of us, covered over by many layers of physicality, all of which make noise. But inside of all of that, that makes it possible, the energy that's coming from a place of silence. The spiritual world is not separated from the manifested one we are conscious of. It encompasses this world, but is also well disguised that it is easily missed by people. Nevertheless, if you know where to look, you'll find it everywhere. The spiritual door opens up at every moment. Do you hear the cars driving by? Are those people speaking in the distance? Listen carefully. Can you feel the presence of the unmanifested in that? You can't? Look for it in the silence out of which the sounds come. Now this is a deeply Kabbalistic idea. We're reading from a page, a white page, which has black forms on it, which make letters. If you had just the letters in their black form and you had no white behind it, it wouldn't appear. So he says there's something that doesn't appear. It's called silence. From this silence, the sounds come, and then they return there. In other words, it's like the page. Page comes first. It's white. Black comes on top of it. First is silence. Then there's action on top of it. Pay more attention to the silence than to the sounds. Paying attention to outer silence creates inner silence. Now this is something you could do right this minute. Just stop and listen. Listen to the silence. The mind becomes still. A doorway is opening up. Every sound is brought and born out of silence. It then dies back into silence again. And during its lifespan, we're talking about a sound now, is surrounded by silence. Silence enables the sound to be. It's an intrinsic, but unmanifested part of every sound. Just like the page, without the white page, you don't have any words. Every musical note, every song, every word, the spiritual world is present in this world as silence. All you have to do is pay attention to it. Even during a conversation between Even during a conversation, you're talking to somebody. You're having a conversation, I'm talking right now. Even during a conversation, become conscious of the gaps between words and the brief silence intervals between sentences. As you do that, the dimension of stillness grows within you. You cannot pay attention to silence without simultaneously become still within. Silence without stillness within. You have entered into the hidden spiritual dimension. You are connected to the realm of God. So he writes, paying attention to outer silence creates inner silence. Remember that. It's a really important thing. Now, I talk about this a lot in other shiurim because I'm impressed by the idea of Gestalt. The idea of Gestalt is there's always a background. In this case, the background is really the source of all things. But it's silent. Pay attention to that silence. The mind becomes still. A doorway is opening up. This is Baruch Fleischman. You're listening to the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. And we're starting to come back again. Some of our basic ideas. I think we are in a time of, we've been in a war for the last 2 years. This is September 12th. It's today, Erev Shabbos, the year 2025. It is the 19th of Elul. I think the 18th or the 19th of Elul. I forget. Of the year 5785 from creation. So here we are. Listening to the silence.